English councils moving homeless families out of the areas at almost 3 times the official rate. We're going to look at this more for this exclusive from the Guardian, guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from the Guardian with the headline that English councils are moving homeless families out of areas in almost 3 times the official rate. The data shows more than 34,000 households placed out of area last week, with some moved more than 200 miles away. We have covered similar stories like this, I think, also from the BBC as well, and I think it's important just to emphasise just how painful this is for families to be forced to be moved up in arms in areas, places where they've never been, at no fault of their own really, just in order to have a home, to have a shelter really. It's just a really broken system we have right now. Yes, I know we need more homes, more houses, we need them, and we have a lot of second, third homes sitting empty as well, which is also a problem. But we've got to try and be realistic with what we can do here. And I know I can't really. One way I do want to blame the council, but at the same time you can't really blame the councils because they're kind of hamstrung with what they can and can't give because of how many few homes that they have. It is a difficult situation for them. And they're trying to prioritise, obviously prioritise the most vulnerable when it comes to these homes, and especially unless you have a family or you're vulnerable or you have disabilities or whatnot, your priority is very, very low on the list. So you're kind of pushed into the forgotten list really when it comes to this. Councils are moving homeless families out of their neighbourhoods at almost 3 times the rate that has been officially recognised, with some have been uprooted hundreds of miles from their network supports, according to research. The data released under the Freedom of Information revealed that 34,418 households were placed out of area last year, based on responses from 80% of English councils. This incomplete figure suggests a total that is 172% above that was officially recorded in the previous year. So this incomplete figure, so it's not even complete, so 172% above what was officially recorded in the previous year. So it could be, it's well over. It's just the numbers is just off the charts really. People are being abandoned by the government. It is a little case of the British public are being abandoned by the government and left to fend for themselves based off this. It's absolutely shocking. Of the councils that responded, 13 admitted placing homeless households more than 200 miles away. The latest figure, compiled by Nottingham University and shared exclusively with The Guardian, suggests either a large year-on-year increase or, more likely, the practice being systematically underreported in the government statistics. The most recent official homelessness statistics suggested that 12,640 homeless households were sent by councils to other areas in 2021 and 2022, and 14,620 the year before. One London council told researchers it was moving hundreds of families out of its area, but admitted it had not informed the Department of Levelling Up Housing and Communities, the DLUHC, about any of them. The finding is part of a longer-term project on the impact of homelessness families being moved away from jobs, family and support networks. Figures collected by The Guardian earlier this year found that 6,000 households have been relocated more than 20 miles from their local neighbourhood in the past 4 years. But Nottingham University research suggests many more families have been moved and at greater distance. Dr. Steve Avari, an assistant professor of the social policy at the University of Nottingham, who led the research, said both the statistics from the FOI and information from interviews we have conducted that are deeply troubling. We now know that the problem is more than twice as bad as the DLUHC data would suggest. People can't afford to live in London, but they are therefore being shipped out places like Blackburn and Burnley in the northwest. Other examples include homeless families in the southwest coast being moved into the Midlands. I've already said the discrepancy between the official figures and the FOI's response could be explained by underreporting. Under Section 205 of the Housing Act, local authorities have to tell the receiving local authorities that they're moving somebody into their area. What we're finding is that doesn't happen anymore. They can't get out of disclosing data after FOI requests. But what data they return to Department of Health, the LUHC, is clearly within their grift, he said. So basically, the information is not being very clear. The people are kind of being shifted, and they're kind of not everyone's being kept in the loop here. There's clearly not being, from the sounds of this, it sounds like that they're not really telling other councils that they're moving them to their council area. Allegedly, that's what it sounds like here, which is deeply concerning, to say the least. We spoke to one London local authority which was moving out of hundreds of families, who said they reported nothing to the DLUHC about out of area placements, and they're clearly not being chased for the numbers. There is huge underreporting. Afri said the families involved were the most vulnerable in society. These are people who have got no money and who have experienced domestic abuse, who have come out of prison or who've had mental health problems. They then move sometimes hundreds of miles away from their families, from social networks, from their mental health practitioners, or from their children's schools, and the vast majority have children. Why are we putting people who've had all these issues and shipping them away from things that really matter to them? Why are we doing this? I feel like it's literally every council for themselves, or they're just trying to shift, get rid of them to kind of like push them out of their area because they don't want to deal with them. And it just feels like, rather than them being treated as humans, they're being treated as just numbers on a graph, and you need to get rid of it. That's kind of it. Just doesn't feel right at all, guys. Afari said black and minority ethnic families were most affected by the practice. Of the councils moving more than 100 families out of their area, with more than 90% confirmed that black and minority ethnic families were disproportionately involved. That's racism in a nutshell there. 90%, that's just out of order. We clearly have a rapid escalation problem with the out-of-area housing, and the impact is having on those placed often a significant distance from their original authority. There is a clear and deepening issue of supply of affordable housing, with the lack of transparent national housing strategy, and society's most vulnerable are feeling the brunt. Many of the families interviewed for the project said they felt stranded and neglected by councils after being moved from their local area, with one said, "I sent them an email every single week and they've not responded. They thought, quick, let's wash our hands of her." Yeah, that's exactly the impression I'm getting from the council on that. Another said, "It's been my job for 15. I've been in my job for 15 years, but now it's hard to go to work. It takes me over an hour and a half to get there. They just abandoned me." A third said, "Too much stress. I have to be positive for them, the children. I mean, I've ripped them away from their friends." Yeah, that's worse. DLUHC spokesperson said, "We are clear that councils should try whatsoever to keep households in their current local area. However, if there is a limited supply of suitable accommodation, it can sometimes be necessary to place homeless households in another area. This should always be a last resort." But I feel they're kind of being left yet to fend for themselves, really, guys. That's the kind of the issue, isn't it? It's a real shame. But these numbers, it's just absolutely shocking. And again, we've talked about it before, guys. The government have abandoned people. they've abandoned the public. They've kind of left them to fend for themselves. I think the councils are doing everything they possibly can. The problem is the councils. There's just not enough homes, and when there's not enough homes, they kind of have to make difficult decisions, and it does leave a sour taste in your mouths when you think about it. That is for sure. But the government needs to do more to help with this situation. It's not enough for the councils to try and keep them in their local areas. That is for sure, guys. But what do you think of this exclusive on The Guardian? Are you surprised by these numbers? What can the government do to help with this situation? Do you guys think they can do? Yes, I know they are Conservative, but what could they do? What could Labour do if Labour get into power next year, guys? What could they possibly do? Do you have any suggestions that what councils could do to try and help with the situation? Let me know down in the comments below what you guys suggest, what you guys think. Like, share, and subscribe as always, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to catch you all very, very soon.